about everything a marketer has to do in a week. Competitor research, the newsletter, blog posts, social, landing pages, the Friday numbers, an SEO pass, planning the next campaign. I mean, that's even in a slow week. At a big company, every one of those is someone's whole job, a whole department of specialists. On your team, a lot of them might just be you. So today we're building an AI agent in Claude Cowork that takes one of these jobs off your plate and runs it every week on its own. No code, nothing too technical. Then I'll show you the shortcut because Claude actually ships whole packs of ready-made skills you can put to work the exact same way. First off, this happens in Cowork, not regular Claude chat. Chat's like a conversation, but Cowork is where Claude goes off and does the work on its own, and it's the only place you can put a job on a schedule, which is the whole trick we're going to be building towards here. So here's the plan. First, what agents and skills actually are, then we build our own, then we borrow more off the shelf from Claude. Okay, let's build. So we're building a market analyst, something that keeps an eye on our competitors and the industry so we're never the last to know when something changes. And it'll run every week on its own, overnight, so a fresh briefing is waiting for us when we start the week on Monday. For this video, I run a made-up company called Gridwell. We make project management software for marketing teams. We sell to companies with 20 to 200 people, and our whole pitch is that we're built for marketers, not engineers. So our competitors are the big project management tools, Asana, Monday.com, ClickUp, and Notion, companies that are constantly shipping things I need to know about. Make sure you swap in your own company and competitors when you build this. Now here's the finished result first. That showed up on its own. Nobody typed a prompt that morning. It's because we used a scheduled agent. Normally when you use AI, it's one prompt, one answer, and you're driving every step. You decide what to ask, what comes next, when it's done. An agent changes who's driving. You hand it the outcome you want one time, and it works out how to get there. It decides where to look, what's worth reading, and what actually matters to you, which tools to reach for, and when the job's done. You say the what, it works out the how. An agent doesn't run on nothing though. It runs on a skill, the second term worth knowing here, and we're about to make one. A skill is the job itself, written down and saved so it can be reused. A saved set of instructions for one job. You write it once, and it's there to use again and again. An agent is just a skill put to work and set loose to run on its own. So we've got two steps. First, we make the skill, then we put it to work. First, let's build this skill. Look back at that Monday briefing, the why it matters to us line on each item. The Monday.com note connected their new Meeting Notes AI to our own tagline, stop drowning in status updates. I never mentioned our tagline in the prompt. It read our brand doc and made that connection itself. For it to do that, it has to reach our brand doc, which lives in our Google Drive. So let's first connect Google Drive. We go to the left sidebar, Customize, Connectors, we find Google Drive, connect, and sign in. We only need to do this once. Every skill and agent you build from here can reach your drive. Same for Slack, Notion, HubSpot, and whatever else you want to connect. Now that we're connected, let's make that skill. You don't write any code and you don't build a file by hand. You describe the job to Claude and Claude builds the skill for you. And describing a job well comes down to 5 parts: name, job, context, tools, and output. I'll call each one out as I go. So the name, competitor watch, we're naming it forces one clear job for this skill. Job is to check Asana, Monday.com, ClickUp, and Notion for new feature launches, pricing changes, and campaigns worth noticing. It's one line on what happened and one line on why it matters to us. The context is read our Gridwell brand context doc first so it knows who we are and who we sell to. The tools are web search and our Google Drive. And the output is a short briefing saved as a new dated doc in our competitor watch folder in Drive. Claude asks a couple of quick questions, then writes the skill and packages it up. It shows up under Customize in Skills, and I switch it on. That's a real reusable skill now, not this one-off prompt. I could use it in a regular chat anytime just by asking for a competitor check. And notice what I didn't tell it to do. I never told it which sites to open, how many results to read, or that a pricing change matters more than a blog post. You brief a new hire on the outcome, you don't sit behind them and micromanage them. Now for the second step, we're gonna put this skill to work. On its own, a skill just sits there until you ask for it. I want this one to run itself every week, so I put it on a schedule. In Cowork, you type /schedule and it walks you through it, what to run, how often, and it may ask a couple of quick questions. I tell it to run the competitor watch skill and drop each week's briefing into our competitor watch folder in Drive. Now for cadence, you get hourly, daily, weekly, weekdays, or on demand. I want it weekly with the briefing waiting for us on Monday. Now for that, you would normally put Monday morning, but weekday mornings are peak hours for Claude and you actually burn through your usage faster. So Sunday evening, off peak, it works while I'm asleep and the briefing's there before Monday starts. You hit confirm and that's it. A skill, now an agent, showing up before Monday without being asked. And the cool thing is your laptop doesn't even have to be on for any of this. Scheduled tasks run on Anthropic servers, not on your machine. So you can close the lid and the briefing still lands in the Drive Monday morning. Now, the one catch is that if a job needs a file that only lives on your computer, Claude reaches it through the desktop app, so the app has to be open. So here's my advice. Keep what your agents need in tools they can reach on their own, like Google Drive, Notion, or Slack, and nothing depends on your laptop. That's why our brand doc lives in Drive. We can also run our skill by hand at any time. There's a scheduled page in the left sidebar with every agent we've built. You can click into the competitor watch and there's a Run Now button. Say your boss wants a fresh read on Thursday. You don't have to wait till Sunday. That same page is where we can edit it, pause it, or delete it later. The good news is we don't have to build every skill ourselves though. Claude ships a bunch of good ones ready to go. They come in what Claude calls plugins. A plugin is a pack of ready-made skills you install in one click from that same customized menu we've already used. And there's one built for marketers. It's called the Marketing Plugin, made by Anthropic. Install it and we get a whole shelf of marketing skills, each one triggered by a slash and its name. One drafts content, one plans a full campaign, one reviews any draft against your brand voice, one builds a competitive brief, one turns your numbers into a performance report, an SEO audit, an email sequence, plus connectors for tools like HubSpot, Slack, Canva, and Ahrefs. Install once and they're all yours. All these things are skills, same as the one that we built, so you can use them in the same two ways. First way, you start it. Type /, pick competitive brief, tell it who to look at, and it runs right now. This is great for a one-off and it works in regular chat too. Plugins aren't Cowork only. Second way, it starts itself on a schedule, exactly like our competitor watch agent. Now that second one needs Cowork, and it's the whole point of this video. You can take a ready-made skill and hand it a standing job without building anything. Let me show you with the reporting one. Every Friday at Gridwell, marketers export a campaign report. So instead of building a new report skill, I'm gonna put the plugin's performance report skill to work. I open the schedule page and I start a new task. I give it a short prompt, read this week's campaign export from Drive, and use the performance report skill to turn it into a report with our brand context for the framing saved as a new doc in Drive. I set it to weekly, Friday afternoon, and save. And that right there is a second agent, a data analyst that reports every Friday. I didn't write the skill, the marketing plugin came with it. Same move as before, a skill plus your context plus a schedule. Now here's the question, when do you build and when do you borrow? Borrow a plugin skill when it's a standard marketing play you want working today. Competitive briefs, SEO audits, email sequences, reports, they're all quality and free. Build your own like we did when the job is specific to how your team works, or you want it shaped exactly your way. The best setup probably mixes both. All right, let's step back and look at what we got. One skill you built and scheduled yourself, one you borrowed and scheduled, and you have a whole shelf ready for whenever you need them. Together, that covers most of what a marketing team does. Now, one last piece of advice, especially for the agents that run while you're not watching. Scheduled agents run when you're not there, which is the point, and also the reason to be a little bit careful. For research, summarizing, and drafting, those kinds of low stakes things, let it run. Worst case, you ignore a bad draft. But for anything that like sends an email, posts publicly, or deletes files, God forbid, keep yourself in the loop and review first. Don't point at your most sensitive files and check the first few runs on the scheduled page to confirm it's doing what you think. And since plugins can come from anywhere, stick to trusted, verified ones like the official marketing plugin. Trust your agents with the busy work, but keep your hands on anything that's hard to undo. So, a skill is a saved job, the instructions for one piece of work. An agent is that skill put to work running on its own. Build the skill yourself like our competitor watch, or borrow one from a plugin Claude ships. Either way, you add a schedule and you've taken a real job off your plate for good. If this video helped at all, please hit subscribe. We build something useful for marketers every week, so go make your first skill and I'll see you in the next one.